Hey y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Give It to the People Live. I am Chisa Pennix-Brown, and tonight I'm giving you all of this purple rain realness, honey. We call her Miss Peacock. So I'm giving y'all Miss Peacock tonight. And you know what peacocking is about? It's about just like looking good. And you already know you look good, but then you just gotta like razzle dazzle them a little bit extra. So today I was in a razzle dazzle mood, right? And so I said, what better way to be in a great mood? Because you have a marvelous person that is coming on the show. So before I bring in Chef Andre, Chef Sean Andre, that is, I just want to let you guys know what real ass. See, I got so many things going on. But I say real ass affirmations, but. Real Ass Affirmations is also my podcast that is the shit you need to say to get you through your day. So I guess I did like my own little commercial, but we're going to jump in. So Give It to the People Live is a show where we help to showcase businesses, specifically Black, minority, women-owned businesses that are in our community that are doing great things that maybe don't necessarily get all the shine that they need. Maybe this is their first interview. Maybe they're not used to being on live. And so I've been able to break a lot of people into the live. But this is also where you get groundbreaking news. You get to learn about some awesome businesses. And hopefully, while we're building this community, you also get the opportunity to spend money with these people, right? So topics, which everybody knows, is food. I love talking about food. I love cooking. I love going to places where I can eat. And so today, now we have a person who I have never met in person, but his videos make me feel like I need to go almost everywhere that he goes, and I need to get a somewhere. So you have already turned me on to some restaurants that are on my now new to-do list, because I'm like, oh, okay, let me check out that place because you introduced it to me. So welcome, 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 Chef. How are you tonight?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Miss Teresa?
I am great. I am great.
Nice to meet you virtually.
Yes. So I know for a fact that you came to some of the classes that I did online, but how did you even find out about the classes in the first place?
I saw somebody else was following me on one of your page.
Okay.
My friend Nikita, actually, that
Mhm.
lives Nikita style. She
Uh-huh.
follows you, and she's my buddy. And I saw you, and I was like, "Whoa, this personality!" And so I googled you.
Uh-huh.
And of
You better
course,
Google me. Yeah, Google it. Okay.
right. And so, actually, funny thing is, I just signed up for 4 more of your classes for the latest. So
Hold on.
there's that
Now you're
plug.
gonna have me bring Tammy out early. Yes. So for anybody,
So you in there, yeah.
for
So
anybody, if
marketing,
this is your
building your
first time.
brand, a lot of things, yeah. It's good.
Yes, Tammy is my tambourine. Her name is Tammy Tambourine.
Okay.
Tammy Faye Tambourine Brown. So when people say
Okay.
good things that I just have to do, I might ask you to repeat something. But when you say those good things, I got to bring Tammy out because, she gives all that extra energy that I need. So welcome everybody if you're just coming on. I'm glad you signed up for 4 more classes. And let me just ask you, even though I know this is kind of like a self-plug, but what did you like about the classes that made you even decide to come back?
Well, I think that a lot of times, with Instagram, like one of the first classes we took was how to build your Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and build your following. And some of the things that we didn't know, like you just don't pay attention to, like that book now button or the shop button or using X amount of hashtags and those types of things. So especially now during the pandemic, it was perfect because you could pull all those things together and
Uh-huh.
showcase them. So I've been kind of rebuilding my brand because I
Okay.
have a Chef Sean Andre following that has thousands of followers, but this
Mm-hmm.
one, and that's the whole chefy thing. This one is more of a food influencer. Um,
Yes.
so that kind of hit home for me. It helped me to build it and build it all, bring it all together. That makes
So
sense.
then I need to know what made you decide to go in this direction, to go from being a chef, because being a chef is a wonderful thing,
It
but
is.
then now you're able to kind of do, and it's like the Anthony Bourdain, the Guy Fieri, the now Nori that's doing it, and then you also have Action
Yeah.
Bronson that's doing it, right? So what made you decide to go in this route? Because a lot of times when people are chefs and they do what they do, sometimes you have a hard time getting them out of that shell to want to go try other people's food. So what made you go in this direction?
Because I've always been a foodie all my life. I was a foodie that just so happened to become a chef, right? So
Oh.
I loved to cook when I was young. Right. I've told the story so many times that it's kind of natural now. But when I
Uh-huh.
was younger, I said, my grandma was a fat kid, right? So because my grandma, when I was young, I'd go to her house in the country, whatever, down South Carolina, and I'd be like, oh, I'm hungry, and she'd get up at 12 o'clock at night and make me a whole dozen biscuits from scratch, right?
Grandma.
I was only saying, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, so I always love food. But then when I get up and get in her garden, so I always love to eat, right? So, I fell into cooking, and, it was a quick story, but I was in this restaurant one day, and the chef was like, because I needed a job, I was a dishwasher, I was like 17, whatever, right? And there was these guys in these big white hats. And you got to remember, I'm not going to tell my age, but that was a long time ago before chefs work in our community, right? So, but I saw these guys in the big hats and the white coats, and like, oh my God, they were getting all this respect. What are you making? So I sneak over there, whatever. And the guy's like, come in, let me show you something. So he put the butter in the pan, and he put some flour in there, and he's like, this, son, is called a roux.
A roux. I knew you was going for a roux with that. I knew you was going for a roux.
Hold on. That is crazy. I see my grandma make that 100 times. I know how to make that. So moving forward a couple years, it became natural to me. But I still love to eat, right? So through the grace of God, through my travels in life, I began training, teaching other people how to cook, how to do things. I started traveling. And so as I started traveling, of course, you're on the road. You have a stipend, you have no refrigerator, so you go out to eat, right? Yeah. So I was going to I was on the road for 7 years straight. So imagine how many restaurants I've been to.
That's a lot.
Every day. It was like a thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So as Instagram came around, right? It was a thing. I'm just like, well, I'm at so-and-so. Let me take a picture of it. Oh my God, people like that. Okay. Yep. And so it just kind of blossomed from there. And so now COVID kind of brought it all together. COVID was like, okay, I'm not going to shout out the company I work for, but this large conglomerate I work for, they're like, okay, you're furloughed. We're going to, go sit down for a little while. Okay. What am I going to do with all this energy? I still got to eat. So Dash and all these people who were hitting up, my girlfriend, she cooks as well. So we're always talking food, right? Yeah. And still, camera eats first, and I love to write. So I also have a blog. I do cooking classes from right here where I am right now. So excellent. For sure, your classes kind of pulled all that together, and all these things I'm talking about, these avenues, now they're kind of in their own lane, and I'm able to do them pretty well. Now, you're not still furloughed now? Are you still working the day job? No, that was then, but I'm just saying that was how it started. Right. Okay. No, I just wanted to know, just because sometimes we have people that are transitioning out of their jobs. Sometimes people want to keep their jobs and want to do stuff on the side. So I always think it's interesting to just try to find out that person's journey. So you giving us that background was really good to kind of figure that out. And so I could say, being in New York and then coming down here in the summertime with my grandmothers, well, actually my great-great-grandmother. So I was blessed enough to be able to have my great-great-grandmother and then my greats, and then, down to that. It was that's where I think I learned that love for cooking. And I feel like it is one of those things that connects you to people. And when you learn how to do something and then somebody's gone and you can still do it and they can taste that flavor, and that's nothing, there's nothing better than that, right? Because then people are like, oh, you made that just like such and such. So it's certain things that I wish I would have learned how to make exactly like somebody else. But I think that the skill set that I was able to learn during that time helped me to really decide, this is what I want to do as far as, cooking for other people. And that's probably why I like to do that so much. I like to see people, I like to sit and watch you. If I make something new, I got to sit and look at you like this until you take that bite and see if you get that joy. Because then that gives me the extra that I need. So I feel that. So, okay. We have the chef side, and then we have the eating side. So what do you feel like you want to do with this? Because this influencer side, you don't have to cook. All you need to do is eat, right? So do you feel like you want to go more in that direction, or do you still want to do both? I still want to do. I have a lot of passions, right? And I revolve around food. So my current passion is, obviously I'm a chef first, right? Now, because that's how we pay the bills, but. Well, and I love running kitchens and restaurants. That's just my thing. You know what I mean? This full time, I've been doing it, right? but I love running kitchens and restaurants. So
Mm-hmm.
I love, because I'm good at it. And what I
Yeah.
mean by that is I'm good at motivating people and
Mm-hmm.
showing people and teaching. That's my superpower, right?
Yes, because you
I'm
know I was
good
going to ask
at,
you a superpower, but you gave it.
well, I mean, I'm good at showing and taking this lemon, like I'm going to make this gaucho steak, which is like jalapeno, cilantro, lime, soy, and cilantro, right? That's going to be our dinner tonight. I'm going to marinate the steak and we're going to make a quick marsala, right? That's going to be
Okay.
dinner tonight. I'm going to do that
Uh-huh.
home with you, right? But I'm good at that. I'm going to do that live and
Yeah.
show people how to do it. Then I'll write the recipe and it's out there,
Yep.
because that's essentially the same thing I do in the restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I develop a recipe. I take it to my 50 employees. Okay, guys, how you make the chicken marsala, steak marsala today, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do you understand? Okay, you got it. Tell, show, do, review.
Mm-hmm.
And we continue to do that process. The same thing with people. If you come
Yeah.
here, like my girlfriend and I, we do this cooking class now, where we
Mm-hmm.
have what's called date night. So we have people that come over and we do cooking classes with them, right?
I love that.
Right in our kitchen, and we
Mm-hmm.
do a 3-course dinner, appetizer, entree, dessert, and we'll let them make the chocolate cake or
Uh-huh.
whatever it is. And
Uh-huh. I'm going to invite myself to that. I'm just telling you right now. Like
I
me
got
and the
you on the
husband,
list. I knew you were going to say that. We already
we
got you
definitely need to
signed
be at
up.
that date
I'll
night.
forward you the information. But it's
Yeah.
also, it is so easy for us.
Yeah.
So she teaches culinary every day. I'm a
Okay.
chef. Think about that. The
Yeah.
concept of, like, you have two people who are used to giving culinary instruction, showing you how to do those things, right?
No, that to me is something that I would love. And one of the things that I like to do prior to COVID, this is, I used to love to go to Williams Sonoma and they would have some
Yeah.
great classes. And what they would always do is they would do something that I didn't know how to cook. So because I didn't know how to cook it, I definitely wanted to be at it. And let me tell you, if you, with the food influencer, who I absolutely love to death, love to follow is Heather B.
Oh, yeah.
If
She's
you
dope. I
don't,
like her, baby.
Heather B
She's made
is,
good soul food. Yeah.
she
All
is
kinds of stuff.
killing me. And I'm just like, she made me, like through COVID, like you said, she made me
Yeah.
want to cook more. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, look at this. And I'm like, what is her grocery bill? Like, because Heather is literally cooking for the multitudes. And I'm only cooking for 2 people. So, I want to try to just explore some new stuff. And having a chef that can tell you all of the intricacies, it's kind of like, even when a person that is specifically skilled in a certain thing looks at things differently, you know what I mean? So there will be things that I know that you could tell me that I'm like, oh well, that's why I should do that. I'm a why person. Once you tell me that, I got it, and then I'm like, okay, well now I can share it with somebody else. And I think that to me that's the great thing. So you have the date nights in the house, but then you also do the cooking classes. So I want you to tell people about these classes, because I know that there are plenty of people who want to cook. And so just FYI, everybody, it is getting, the summer's almost over. So cuffing season is coming up, okay? So once it gets cold, you're going to want these cooking lessons so that you can cuff them and keep them in the house, okay? So if the chef can tell us what we need to know now, you'll be ready for the wintertime to get your person and cuddle up all winter, right? So tell us about the cooking classes.
So the cooking classes are this. So the cooking classes can be found 1 or 2 ways, right? First, a lot of people are vaccinated or not, but I do them live. I have a Facebook group. It's called Eating with Chef Sean Andre, right?
Okay.
So in the class, so once a week, basically every Saturday or Sunday, I do a live cooking class where like I just said, I break down a recipe, I show you how to make it from the smallest elements all the way until the fancy restaurant presentation, right? And this is how you do that. Recipe step by step will be listed thereafter with all the pictures, demonstrative, the whole deal. Yeah. Number 2 is you could hire me to come to your home, right? So I can come to your house.
Yes, right? Come to the house. Look, I was like, come to the house. Let me tap my eyes. You said come to the house. Yeah.
Okay. So we use Pampered Chef products for, all the equipment. So we bring that whole deal with us. All the equipment, all the pots, pans, knives, whatever, cutting board, everything that I use, I bring with me to show you exactly how to make that recipe the way I do it, You know, we'll come up with a food bill. You want to learn how to make, I don't know, beef stroganoff. Okay, it takes this, this, and this. You buy it. We'll have it there. We'll do a checklist. I'll make it. It takes about 2.5 hours, depending on the menu. We leave, and that's it.
Okay, so now let me just break down just so I can be clear. Do you purchase the food and bring the food with you also?
Yes.
Okay, so this means all I need to do is say, listen, chef, this is what I want you to have to do. And then this is the date.
Clean out your refrigerator and make sure your stove's clean, and we got the rest.
Okay, and so then this way you bring everything. Now I have a meal. Now I've learned something, and the only thing you don't do is the cleanup, right? Because I mean that would be.
We're gonna clean. We're not gonna. Yeah, we clean up.
Okay, no.
Where we messed up, we'll clean up. I mean, I'm not gonna, get.
No, you know what I mean. That's what I'm just saying. But I think that to me, well, you got to clean up if you're going to take your stuff back with you. So does that mean also, do you sell the Pampered Chef stuff? Because I know that that's another company that you can sell things for.
Yes, we do.
See, come on, well-rounded.
Well-rounded. And we'll put the link out there when you send this out to people. I'll give you all those links so you can go and purchase all those things. You'll be purchasing directly from the source, myself. And it's a one-stop shop. Whatever you need, you got the food, you got the equipment, you got whatever you need, and it's great. And one thing too is what you'll learn to go back to. We'll come back to this in a second, but I just want to touch on this one point. Is one thing that you'll learn through our cooking classes are flavors and what works well together, right? So you're gonna start to understand, like, wow. One day you're just going to find yourself like, that lamb really likes mint. I had no idea that lamb loves mint.
First of all,
what if I, the other day I saw mint jelly in the store. What if I heat it up? Could I put that in the lamb? Yes. Now you have a mint jelly sauce. Things like that. You're gonna look, you got my eyes filled up. It's you never thought about, right?
I have discovered I love lamb now. So that little tidbit you just gave me, let me go find a piece of sheep, honey, and let me go get a mint jelly. Okay, that just gave me everything I needed.
It's a lot. I mean, I've taken this. I've done this for so many years. So I volunteer with the food banks and different things like that. And one of the things I do with the food bank are these same classes. They're called Cooking Matters. So we have underprivileged families like in DC. I lived there for a long, long time. Most of my family lives there. But anyway, we would go. This was back when Michelle Obama had the chefs move to schools. Remember that thing? Anyway, she went in every school to help with health and nutrition. So went to the White House and met with her and all this kind of stuff. But then she sent us out to these different schools. So what we would teach the people, especially now during summer, is instead of going to buy the dollar menu. I can teach you how to take $10. Instead of buying chicken breasts, you can go buy a whole chicken for $3. Fabricate the whole thing, meaning break it down, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 breasts, and all the scraps, and feed your family of 4. Buy a bag of rice, vegetables, right? For $10, you feed your whole family. You keep all those scraps, then you make chicken noodle soup. You understand what I'm saying? Things like
chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side.
This is what I'm talking about. So now take it back to the restaurants. So how you make money in restaurants, or you learn how to run food costs. That means the cost of your food versus your profit.
The price that you actually pay, getting people to pay for it. Yeah.
Same thing for your home, right? You want to be able to spend as little as you can and make as much as you can. 90-10, right? That type of thing. So anyway, I just wanted to plug that in there.
No, but that's really good to know.
Especially
what was your experience at the White House like?
Go ahead.
I was saying, what was your experience at the White House like?
Amazing. I mean, I could tell you that story. I got a lot of stories. So anyway, my mom was she came to town because her friend was doing the race for the cure, right? And she called me a couple of weeks prior, and was like, "Hey, I'll be in DC so and so weekend." Okay, I'm busy. I'm at work. I'm doing class. I'm doing stuff. I'm busy. I forgot about it. And so they called me from the White House, right? The food bank was like, "Hey, you're gonna get no, they called from the White House. They were like, hey, I'm trying to reach Mr. Sean Andre Thomas, this is so-and-so calling on behalf of Ms. Obama from the White House. Mm-hmm. I'm busy. Can you call me back, please? And hung up. I swear to you.
Now, you know I got to give you an old mean side out on that one. Did you think it was a hoax?
Look, why was somebody recalling me from the White House? So anyway, so like 30 seconds later, the lady from the food bank say, hey, chef, guess what? I have great news. Somebody from the White House is going to call you. Oh, right? And so luckily the lady called me back. I was like, oh, I dropped the call, whatever. So move the story forward. I don't tell anybody yet, right? So it's like a week prior to run my background and all that. So I don't tell anybody because I don't believe that it's real yet. So the morning of, I'm getting dressed. I'm going to the White House. They're like, you need to be here at 7 a.m. security, whatever. All right, cool. Now, mind you, I told you my mom said she was coming to town, and I'd forgotten. She was like, hey, I'm in town. Where are you? Can we get together? And I'm like, well, where are you? I totally forgot you were coming today. And I hadn't even told her about the White House thing yet. She was like, oh, we're at the Marriott downtown across the street from the White House. And there's all these chefs out here in these coats. What do you think they're doing? I'm like, what? You're where? And she's like, I'm at the JW Marriott. No way. Where are you exactly in the hotel? I'll come meet you. I literally am 5 steps from her. And I was like, Mom, guess what?
Wow.
We're about to go. And so me, her, and 200 other chefs walked through the White House. She didn't get to go in because they didn't do security, but she got to walk into the gate. And that was probably one of the best days of my life.
Wow. That's good, though.
Who put that together?
No, that's ain't nothing but God. God put that together. But you know, and every episode, there is always something that to me just is a theme with the people that I bring on. And what I think is the theme is consistency, but it's also preparation. So you said, who are you to be at the White House, right? Why are they calling me? Who are you not to be at the White House, honey? Like, I look at it like, I think sometimes we diminish our value, and we are doing our work and being on our course and being focused on what we are supposed to be doing. And that's how those opportunities just come to you, because you are working in your purpose and in your gift, you know. So all the way back to grandma, you know, making you a dozen biscuits, right? To now, you're constantly doing what you're doing to be in your gift, and that to me deserves a little tambourine. That is amazing.
I got a couple more I got to get in before we go. I don't know what time we have, but anyway. So speaking on that was several years ago, the Obama White House. So,
well, we know it wasn't the Trump one.
Anyway, we got enough time for that.
We know it wasn't that one.
So we were, so one day I was, I lived everywhere, so I decided, I'm going to move to California, right? Move to California, expand my business. I was, like I said, I was doing this full time, and, it was great. I had a bunch of clients out there, and, Google for Mary, like, she called me one day. She was like, I posted, like, oh, I'm on my way to LA. She's like, can you come to my house? I'm just like, yeah, sure. So I go to her house and meet her and the whole Mary family. It's dope. So as I'm leaving there, right, I get this random call from this lady, from this email from this lady. It's like, I've been trying to get in contact with you. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I don't know you. She was sending me a DM, right? I don't really answer DMs. And she was like, well, do you have a phone number? Can I call you? Sure. So I give her my business on. She calls. She's like, well, I'm, Chisa from the Food Network. Okay. Hi, how can I help you? And she was like, well, we follow your Instagram page and your Chef Sean Andre page, and we'd love to see if you want to be on our show. Sure. And I'm like, and this is like November, let's say 15th, right? Let's say 18th. And I'm like, well, sure. She was like, well, we're filming our Thanksgiving episode next Friday. Can you be here? Sure. Okay. So at this point, I'm just like, what? I'm in my purpose. Of course you call me. You understand what I'm saying? So I go up there and they're like, I'm like, by the way, what show is it? And she's like, oh, it's Guys Grocery Games. Okay, cool. Never even seen the show. Love Guy Fieri, but never seen the show. Didn't know the premise of it or anything. So I go in there in this whole studio, and they, you know, we get dressed and, you know, put on all this stuff, what have you. And, okay, this is what you got to do. We're going to give you a cart. We're going to give you so-and-so seconds. You run around the store, pick out the groceries. You got to make a dish, whatever. Okay, sure, whatever. All right. I mean, for me, I already won because you called me, right? So it's going to be on TV, right? Long story short, that's my thing. Is Mr. Make something out of nothing. I can go in your refrigerator right now and put together a whole meal, right?
Come on.
Give me a whole grocery store? What?
Yes.
Anyway, went in there, did my thing, was in that studio for 8 hours, walked out there with $20,000 just like that in one day.
Listen.
Like just like that. Yeah. Okay. Just like that. Yeah.
So that to me is, it's just a testament. That's what I'm saying. And so you saying, okay, yeah, sure, I can be there. I think that there would have been people that would have, you know, maybe been intimidated, or maybe they would have said, oh, I got something else to do because of the time. But I think that when you get presented with these opportunities, it's a reason that they're presented to you, and you have to take those opportunities. But you also have to kind of discern, is this really the thing that I want to do? So could you see, and I'm sure the answer is going to be yes to this, but having your own like show where maybe you do all of the chef stuff and you do the going around, because you don't really see that much on Food Network, right? Like usually people are doing one or the other kind of thing. But I think, because I like to prophesy, that you could definitely do that. But I want to know, like, do you think that there's a big difference and or like a disparity in, you know, when we talk about men, but specifically Black men? Because typically when we look at the chefs, you know, you see a lot of chefs, and this is just in that world, that are typically white men, but not necessarily as many that are men of color, right? So we kind of have to look at that. I think, first of all, I would love to see that. Like if you do the chef side of things, if somebody would show all of those aspects of the things that you do as far as charity, you know, going from high end to low, you know, being able to show people how they can do that. I think that would be something that would be really transformative. So I'm gonna speak that into your life, because I feel like that would be a good thing to see. Come on, listen. But the disparity, like we don't see as many Black men chefs. What do you think is part of the reason that we don't see as many?
I think that now, you know, it's this quote that Marcus Samuelson said a long time ago. He was like, you know, back in the day, we used to have to fight to get out of the kitchen. Now we got to fight to get back in them.
Oh, I love Marcus too.
That's heavy because back in the day, you know, it was before Food Network, or when Food Network initially started. You know, it wasn't cool to be a chef. They used to call you cookie or whatever. You know what I mean? And a person like me, like I stayed in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like I just came up and kind of grew into it. But a lot of people got out of it. You understand? And they went and did other things, and you know, had other prosperous careers elsewhere. But then let's say the Food Network boom came, right?
Yeah.
And there just wasn't a lot of us left. You understand what I'm saying? So you have the different cultures that started those positions that, let's just say, we didn't necessarily want back then, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Those are the cultures that are starting to rise because they're more of them, let's just say, right? And so what I find now is the challenge is, it's just like any other thing that we do in our community. You have to be twice as good as your Caucasian counterpart sometimes. I'm not saying that it's a thing, but it's a thing. You know what I mean? I know that it doesn't really bother me because I have fun in what I'm doing, and I love to do it. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I think that it's a dual battle is what I'm getting at here. I think it's a dual battle. I think that I don't know that there are not enough of us in the Black community that want to be chefs or enjoy cooking like that. That's why I want to have a youth, like instead of having a summer basketball camp, have a summer culinary camp That's what I want to do. You understand what I'm saying? That
Please
way
do that.
we can start building that back up.
Yes.
And coming on shows like this and talking about these kinds of things. Well, why not me be the example? I did it. You understand what I'm saying? So you can do it too. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's lucrative. Because look at how many different avenues of things you can do as a chef, other than work in a restaurant. I choose to do that because I like it. You understand what I'm saying? But you can be an influencer, you can be a blogger, you can be a TV host. The issue is now the other side of that is how do you get in front of those people to show them that you're articulate and you can talk and you have charisma and you can be that Anthony Bourdain person. I live that same life. I don't want it to end like his, but it's the food, travel, eating, going everywhere. You know, we were in Richmond last week, Charlotte the other week. Just wherever there's food, we're there and we're talking about it. You know what I mean? Ooh, I gotta shout out my man Alpha Dog right quick.
Okay.
Sidebar. Alpha Dog in South Raleigh. If you're not on here, you should be, bro. Great restaurant. You gotta check him out. But anyway, we went the other day. It was dope. It was great. They have these bacon wrap hot dogs with like this pico de gallo, onions and peppers.
Oh, I saw that on your page. I did see that on your page.
I love that place. But anyway, so I think that's the biggest disparity. I just don't know that maybe we're not necessarily seek. I can tell you this, when I was working in a certain corporation, I just didn't see a lot of us walking in the door. I just didn't.
Do you think that we associate that though with slavery and with, you know, all of us, and I'm just saying us as in, let's say, a Black people having to be in the kitchen, and that was a thing that, you know, that maybe we associate with that, so that's why people don't want to do it? Because I really didn't think about the fact that when you're saying once this became a thing, that there weren't as many people that probably were to that level to be a chef or to be a head chef at a certain type of place. So, you know, when I'm thinking about it, I think about, like, I had home ec when I was in school, but they don't have home ec now. So you didn't learn how to cook things and do stuff. When I was little, I went to Girl Scouts. So you learned how to make things and camp outside and stuff. So I think sometimes the influences that we have, you know, in our life are the things that then probably make us be good at something later on, or even at least want to aspire to do that. But maybe that's probably a thing, is that maybe we're not coming through the door because we associate it with the past, and, you know, and possibly with slavery. And I'm not trying to say people need to get over slavery, but what you just said, as far as people being able to make a lucrative career, that is definitely a lucrative career, because if you can make good food, you can be anywhere and do that.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Trust me. I've been to, I've lived everywhere. DC, New York, Cali, anywhere you can think of from east to west coast. Ooh, let me tell you a funny, back to the influencer thing. Let me tell you one little story. So when I decided, this was what, 7, 8 years ago? I don't know how many years I was out there. But anyway, I decided I was going to go to Cali, right? So I was like, I have an idea. This is what I'm going to do. So basically, I packed up my car, right? And I called AAA and I was like, look, I'm going to drive to California from DC. Map out for me 8 hours a day. I only want to drive during the day, right? 9 to 5. Find me a hotel. How long is it going to take? So long story short, it took me 4.5 days to drive, but I ate at 32 restaurants over the entire 5 days.
Man. Okay.
And blogged about the whole. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to. And it was great. And I always get to tell people that story. How many people in life can say that? I've done that twice, actually. But anyway,
I love that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
the food influencer thing is always there. So, yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay. So I think to me that's a really great way to just explore some things. And if more people had that, now this is just my philosophy, because I believe in what I like to call mental wealth. Now that I'm older, I tell people I specifically go places where I've researched the restaurant so that I can eat. And I know that that may seem crazy, but when I went to Baltimore, that's all I wanted to do for my birthday was go to Baltimore, right? And so we did a two-part trip. We went to Baltimore and we went to Luray Caverns up in Virginia. I wanted to go to Poppy Cuisine because I
Okay.
had been looking at his stuff for over a year and it did not disappoint at
Mhm.
all. So when I now plan trips, there is a foodie part to it. There is a we are going to this place. So what I do is I keep like when people like you say, okay, well, this is a good thing. This is a place to eat at. If you tell me that that's in Raleigh, then I'll go ahead and save that in my Instagram and put it underneath my little Raleigh thing so that the next time that I go to Raleigh, then I can make sure that I try something, right? And I plan the trips based on like, this is where there's great food to eat because there's nothing better than traveling and having a good food experience. Like, I think that to me, that's a beautiful thing. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I would love this whole food camp. And I think that that's something that somebody else should invest in also, because one of our viewers on here posted that culinary school is only like 50,000. So you can go to culinary school and be finished in what, like 2 years,
2 years, it's an
and
associate.
spend way less than your regular college degree.
Yes, and make several $100,000. Trust me.
See, so it's kind of one of those things where you think about why do people educate us in the way that they do, where they say, let's go to a 4-year institution? Because you could already be making money as a chef.
Correct.
Like you could do that while you're in school. Every time you learn a new recipe, you can cook that recipe, you can do that. Do you take your well, I mean, I guess the answer is yes. One of the things that I've seen too is people will do like whole dinner parties for people. So
Mhm.
you mentioned coming and doing like, cooking for the couple and teaching them. But do you do it where like, listen, I just want you to just come do my dinner party. So could you just
Mhm.
hook me up some food and we could just sit back and you just make us feel good?
Mhm. We do
Yes.
that.
Okay.
We do that as well. But I want to go back to one quick thing.
Uh-huh.
So when you talk about mapping out your food adventures,
Uh-huh.
the proper name for that is called a foodcation.
A foodcation?
Yes.
I've been calling them mini cation,
They're
but
called
now I'm doing
foodcation.
foodcation. Okay, you know
Foodcation.
hashtag
So
foodcation is
yeah,
going up, right?
that's right. Foodcation. So we do the same thing. Is we keep a running list of like Greensboro. And we keep it so we have iPhones, so we do shared notes, right? And she's
Yes.
like, oh my God, I saw this on whatever in Greensboro. Let's go to here. We saw this in Charlotte.
Yes.
We have lists of like, huh? Or right, Soul Taco or whatever. It's always,
I love
mostly
it.
American restaurants. But it don't matter though. Like what was the one we saw the other day that had like the cereal milkshakes? Like it was like
Oh, the one in Charlotte, that's day and night, right?
day and night, like right.
Because
And
I,
we got
I said I was going there. See, that's what
yeah,
we
gotta
were
do
here.
that.
I
Like
saw it
yes,
and
come
I said I was
on. Like
going.
that's so dope. Right? So that's on the list. Things like that. Um or like the Black Flea Market they have in Raleigh. Just there's so many things that are
Yeah.
just happening out there, but they're called foodcations. But
Okay.
anyway, okay, back to your question,
Foodcation.
which was right. So right, culinary school's like 50 grand. I mean, you can go, to a community college, or I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're not looking. It's different for a chef. It's
Mm-hmm.
not easy. Like, I don't want you to think, oh, I can just because I can cook, I can go to culinary. You still have to take calculus. Like that still happens. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And different courses, so on and so forth. So it's a 2-year degree, but it's still a 2-year degree. So once you get your associates, you can still go back and get your bachelor's. You can get your master. You can get a certified master.
Mm-hmm.
You can take it as far as you want. So someone has like, show us what you got, chef. I'm talking, but I will. Stay tuned after this. I'm gonna do a demo. But anyway, so and then you can take that as well. I mean, once you get your some schools this is just an associate depending on the school, but once you get your bachelor's, I mean you can teach culinary at like North Carolina Central. You can be
Uh-huh.
a professor of director of culinary and be tenured as a
Uh-huh.
chef. Like that's how many hundreds of thousands of dollars there.
Yeah.
So they're paths, but people don't always understand that must be that's a thing. Like you have to be a doctor, or
No,
so
and People
You
are
don't
cooking
do
that
that.
just know how to cook, and they don't have any degree. They're not a chef, right? But if you
Right.
know how to make something, you can show somebody else. So
Right.
there's power in just knowing how to do it, and then to be able to teach it to somebody else. And then there's a question that says, y'all must be in NC. Yes, we're in NC. We're in North Carolina. So I want to know,
Yeah.
one of the
Okay.
other things that you talked about is how many other things that you can go into once you're a chef. So you're talking about doing something new, which is going to be an ebook for you. So can you give us a little bit about that?
Right. So my ebook I've been writing for, a couple years now. And the way that happened is basically on my travels. Like some of the stories that I've told you today are what make great chapters to
Yeah.
talk about,
Good.
and the stories about my grandmother, the recipes. I mean, I have thousands of recipes. Think about it. So working this one place before I left Cali, that we had a menu that had 442 items on it, right?
Wow.
So I had 5 restaurants on this campus, right?
Mhm.
Or yeah, 4, but 5 including catering, including catering. So
Mhm.
442 items on it. The menu changed every day, every week from scratch, and they couldn't repeat for 90 days. And so I wrote those recipes. Think about that. 442 items, menu change every day on every station, in every restaurant, every week. And I wrote that menu from scratch for 7 years.
That's crazy.
Insane. So think about the amount of recipes that are just there that I need
Yeah,
to
that
put
is
and show
crazy.
to somebody, right? You understand? So it's there. But you're going to teach me that through all your classes and how to pull all that together.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just can't even. Okay, I can't even fathom
Renita's on there.
the
Super Renita.
level of creativity that it takes to do that. And the reason is
Yeah.
because, you think about something like, let's just say chicken, for example, since you
Yeah.
use chicken. And it's a lot of different ways to cook chicken. And you think about all the different restaurants that you go to and they all serve chicken, but it's just totally different in some places.
I
So
should
you
have had this lemon chicken
that
piccata.
many
Like,
recipes,
ooh, it
that's
was
crazy.
stopped up. You hear what I said? This lemon chicken piccata I made last night with lemons, capers, and it was
Uh-huh.
stopped up. I'm gonna make that
Okay,
for
we
you.
didn't get none of that. Look, don't.
I posted it. I posted it on my story. Oh my
We didn't
god,
get
it was
to
so
eat any of it. You did not. We did
good.
not get to taste it. So
We're
we
gonna
got
hook
to get
that
the
up for you
tasting
though. We're
part of
gonna
it.
we're gonna be out there. No problem. You right up the street. I got you.
Well, I think that sounds like a good idea, but I feel like even with the ebook, you could break down each individual, let's just say meat or
Yeah.
vegetable or whatever, and there could be a book on each one of those because you obviously have enough, talent, skill set to be able to put down that. And when you talk about, there you go, I knew somebody was about to put it up there,
Yeah.
vegan or
Yeah. Vegan,
vegetarian
vegetarian. Yeah.
recipes, right? That's
Yeah.
enough to just separate out and do those things. I see a whole like vision of this, the way that you do stuff. It would be super easy for you to create just amazing content. And I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying that in a way that is really
There
easy
needs to be
and
more of it.
palatable.
I know
Yeah.
where you're going with that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I see it. Like I see it so clearly. So you just need a day. No, let me just not say that. You need a week. You need a week where you can just cook for however long, then another week to just put this part together. You know what I'm saying? So a good month, oh my God, you could have so much stuff. Like it
Yeah.
just amazing, I mean,
Well,
I know you can't
he
just stop
said,
everything, but that would be really awesome to be able to see.
I think
Woo.
that that's a great idea, actually. I think that probably because, I mean, we cook every day. Like,
Okay.
going to I'm going to do this thing in Tampa in 2 weeks, right? So we're gonna just practice the recipes like 5 times because it's not until like the 20 something. You
Uh-huh.
understand what I'm saying? But if we
To
just
perfect them.
we film it, right?
Yeah.
Write it down, and it's there and it's done. This is page 1, recipe 1, whatever that is.
Mhm.
Then we're done and just get it. Because I can probably get away with like 200 pages for the
Mhm.
first one. You understand what I'm saying?
You
Just
don't
get
even, I'm trying to tell you, you even doing too much. You do not
You think
have
so?
to do that much to do an
Uh,
ebook. What I'm saying is, it could be one good meal, and you show us all of the courses. It could be a 1 week worth of meals. It doesn't even have to be that long, because I would trust that it would be good. You know what I mean? Like, I would trust that. And I've seen people do chintzy, okay? And I've seen people do a whole lot. And then I've seen people do like just the right amount. And it's like, okay, all I needed to learn was this. Like, it's the skill set that you have. And that's what I'm saying. Because it's so natural to you,
yeah.
it's easy for you, and it's not easy. I mean, making a roux is a hard thing for people who don't understand that. Like, that's why when you start describing, I'm like, I know he's making a roux, right? But that's a hard thing. Like, when you think about gravy, and I don't even really eat
Yeah.
gravy, but when you think about gravy, you got different levels of gravy. When you think about even boiling an egg, it's
Right. Right.
different levels of boiling an egg, right? So you have so much knowledge that I could see just so many great things being able to come from that, and being able to be harnessed to be able to help people. And especially if you're talking about keeping on a budget, but even if you go niche, that could be something awesome. That could be
Right. I
something.
think you hit a good point earlier.
Yeah.
I think that what I feel really good about my some of my strengths are that I can go very, very high end,
Yeah.
or it could be cost conscious as
Yeah.
well. So putting all that together is kind of where my
Yeah.
where my challenge is, right, where my soft point is, or what I need to focus on, or where I'm focused now. So
I have
so
an
I'm
idea for you. I'm gonna send it to you in a message though, because
okay.
I'm gonna send it to you in a message.
I
I have
already see
an
the
idea.
brain working. I can't wait to see what I'm gonna get you, man.
You know, that's how I am. Once you tell me something, I get to like cliculating all in my head. Cliculating, that's a word. Cliculating all
Love
in
that.
my head, and I'm like, I could see it. Like, I could see such and such. I just feel like we have, as a people, a lot of talent. But one thing that you are, I don't want to think you're glazing over, but that to me, it seems like you're glazing over, is your personality. And when you talked about being an influencer, and being a black male, and being a chef, and being a celebrity chef, and having the ability to be able to create all these things, it's people that can do that, but do not have the personality to go along with it. And
Yeah.
plenty of people that have the personality, and I'm just going to be frank because this is my show, that don't know shit, but they
Right.
look good, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
So when you pair your personality and that personableness that you have, it looks like you're having fun when you're eating. You know what I mean? Like,
It
you
is
don't look
fun.
like the type of person that's out there eating and throwing up.
Nah.
You
Nah.
know, there's people that do that, right? So when you look at that, it's like that personality, I think, is the thing that will kind of take it over the top for people. And I just see that, this would be something where I want to know a little bit more about what is the process of joining the Facebook group? Is there like a fee that you pay? Is there a membership? Like, what is that? Because I know now everybody's listening and they want to cook. They want to make some more stuff.
Right. Okay. So one or two things. So most of the time the classes are free.
Okay.
I get on there and I just make, and it just happens how that whole process started is
Mhm.
because I'm here and I'm like, well, people would probably want to learn how to make this recipe. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna turn my live on and just see who gets on there, and I
Okay.
just make it, right. And people's like, then I start getting DMs like, when are you gonna host another class? Or what? Well, it wasn't a class, but I'll do it again. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So
Yep.
now what I'm doing is I'm announcing the classes in series.
Okay.
So we're saying like chicken. So next, let's say August, we're gonna do vinaigrettes in August. So we're gonna learn how to make balsamic, white balsam. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the month, we'll bring it all together. This is how and so everybody will have to send me a recipe with their vinaigrette, their salad. So I'll feature it on my page, so on and so forth. But there'll be a fee for that. It'll be like $10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just something to go, and then we'll continue to go as we go.
It's
We'll
worth
do
it.
a series on the whole year's already mapped out. I have it already done, but there'll be a series on knife skills, how to chiffonade, and what that means, and what brunoise means, and different things like that, and and chop, and stab. Anyway, but you know, right? So things like that, and dressings and chicken recipes, and you know, a lot of people don't know like how to, you know, how easy it is to make ranch dressing from scratch. Things like that. You know, mayonnaise, seasoning, garlic powder, and basically that's it. I mean, it's not a thing. And buttermilk. But you know, you probably pay somebody at Williams and Sonoma $80 to learn how to do that. And I'll show you in like 20 seconds, literally how easy it is. So basically, it's Eating with Chef Sean Andre on Facebook, and you can, you know, just send me a request, and I'll approve it, and we go. And it's that easy. And you get and whatever's there now, you get full access to.
Hold up. Let me read these comments to you. One comment said, nice skills are mad important. People lose fingertips for no reason. Yes, that is true. I have cut myself, and I'm like, no, I pay close attention now. And the other comment was, or question was, do you focus mainly on American cuisine?
No, we do Italian. Like I said, we're having steak marsala tonight. Last night we had Italian again. Last night we had Piccata, right? Yeah, I guess we're an Italian thing right now. We do a lot of Latin. This weekend we're doing they're doing what? Seafood. Oh, we're doing that. They're doing like a lobster chimichurri for this couple that's coming over. Last week we did like these red beans and rice with this blackened steak. So we do, you know, Cajun. It just depends on what you want.
Yeah.
You know, we do poke, which is, you know, Hawaiian. We do orange General Tso's chicken we had the other day. And everything we make from scratch, you know.
Wow.
But we also do good old DC mumbo sauce. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, we don't play around here. It's the gamuts, you know, don't get this belly for nothing, you know, but so it's a good thing, you know. But we also do, you know, one thing I'm going to brag on a little bit.
Okay.
We also, as we eat this much, we also do like a smoothie series as well.
Because I was going to say, that's exactly where I was going, because you said you were going to detox, because me and you were looking at. So, yeah, I wanted to ask.
I want to just say, like, I'm still kind of heavy set now, but from a year ago this time, I'm down like 105 pounds.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm sure people who haven't seen me in forever are like, oh my God, is that Chef Sean? Yes. So,
oh my goodness.
So we eat out. And we detox heavy. My whole family's on, like my mom, everybody. We don't play. What I do, and they're on my page too. But I'll make like, you know, we buy these 1 gallon like water bottles from Aldi. And you can't see over there, but we have all kinds of fruit, bananas, pineapples, oranges. Greenery is the biggest thing. Kale. And we drink one of those every day. You know, just take a cup, drink one every day. You steady, or, you know, fluid, should I say? And it keeps you healthy because you get all those nutrients in your body.
Yeah.
It's also detoxing
cleaning you out.
All those excrements that you do, your colon and different things like that. So it works. It works for us. So I definitely recommend smoothies as well. Green smoothies.
No, everything that you told me, I have a vision.
You know, tell them. There's Kaya, she knows. Yeah.
I have a vision that I think we might need to do some stuff for the 2022, because I just think that the things that we've talked about today, we have a responsibility, I would say, with our skills and our talents to be able to pass that on to somebody else. And one thing that I feel like we touched on is the youth, right? You don't even know what you really want to do. And some people do, right? But you can be older and make a life transition to something different. But if you had somebody showing you how to make food and make money from it at a younger age, like you would be so much more, we as a community would be let's just use the word well fed, right? Like we be well fed physically and spiritually and mentally. And for me, that's probably one of the reasons why I love, just food and gatherings and bringing people together, because it gives me that whole entire, that feeling. But I think that there does need to be a push to really get the youth into cooking and to do that as a profession. Because it's quick to go tell somebody to go get a job at McDonald's, right? Like that was the whole thing. Y'all remember Calvin? If you old enough, if you on this right now, y'all remember Calvin when Calvin was so happy he got that job at McDonald's, right? But we didn't teach Calvin how to own the McDonald's, we didn't teach Calvin how to cook anything other than McDonald's. So I think if we could do something that's youth oriented, and that summer camp that you're talking about, I mean, I'm just thinking, even if you did it like when there was a school break, like when it's a one day, you know how they have those little, what you got, fall break and stuff like that. That would be a dope summer camp for kids to be able to have, right? Like it needs to be something out there to really encourage the youth and tell them, yeah, you can go to school. But one of the comments that was on here, if you're in North Carolina and you're going to go to community college, that it will be free for you to be able to go to school too. Like Winston-Salem, I know is doing that. So I'm not trying to tell more people to come to North Carolina, but let's just think about it. If your kid went to community college and they could go for free and they could learn how to be a chef in 2 years, and think about all of the food you can eat in between there while they're learning, right?
And one thing about going to school, one thing you're going to learn about going to school is what's going to happen while they're in school is to commit yourself to culinary school, you're going to have a passion for cooking. You understand what I'm saying? So what they're learning in school, like school is going to give you the education, but cooking is a practical, demonstrative skill. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you, I can sit here and tell you all day how to make a bechamel, Alfredo sauce. I can tell you how to do that. But to actually have you put it on the stove, watch the heat, and not scorch it, not let it bubble over, is a skill. You understand what I'm saying? So school's going to teach you the basics. Essentially what I'm doing in my classes.
Yes, that's it. That's what I'm saying.
It's exactly what I'm giving you, the basics to take home and prepare your meal for your husband based on, or whomever, based on, this is how you make a basic salsa. Right? With tomatoes, onions, cilantro, and salt, pepper, garlic. That's how you make a basic salsa. Right? Or pico de gallo.
Pico.
But you can also add mango or diced pineapple to that.
Pineapples all day.
Right? And you understand what I'm saying? Where that can go. It gets me excited. I'm like mouth watering. I'm getting hungry.
No, look, I love other pineapple salsa.
But those are the things that school will teach you, like what bechamel is. But what to do with that is, like my very first class I did on there was Alfredo sauce. And which is basically a white sauce, right? But from like Alfredo sauce, cream, Parmesan, Alfredo. But from that, you take the next class was red pepper cream sauce, right? So the same Alfredo base, right? Puree red pepper and some Cajun seasoning. Now you have a red pepper cream. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Add some basil to it, it becomes Italian. Or you take tomatoes, then you have a vodka sauce. Different things like that. But this is your base. But then your taste buds, because I'm going to teach you that, are going to continue to elevate, and you're going to be like, oh wow, I wonder if I can do this. Yes. I wonder if I can do that. Yes. And then all of a sudden, you're the chef that creates these amazing recipes out of nowhere.
But you know what? Every episode, so this is another thing that we always talk about. My business is built off of confidence. And what you just told us was, I can give you the confidence to go in your kitchen and cook something well. I can give you the confidence from a base skill set for you to be able to expand and continue to make new choices and to even experiment, because some people won't experiment. So for me, I think that that's an important part of what you give to people with your business, is that confidence that they can cook. you know, or at least
Correct.
they can get good at one thing. They might not be able to do everything, but they can do this recipe if you show them how to do it and make it not so intimidating for them to be able to learn that skill set. So I appreciate that. So we are
Absolutely.
rounding out our time. What I want you to do, just tell people, is there anything else you want them to know? And then where can they find you online?
Okay, so what I do, I am Chef Sean Andre, and so what I do is I am a chef, culinary instructor, and food influencer. You can find me everywhere in the world at Eating with Chef Sean Andre. You can find me on my Linktree, YouTube. I have cooking videos on there under Eating with Chef Sean Andre. Like I said, Facebook group, anywhere in the world, Google me, and trust me, it comes up. And you can see, I'm just saying, Google me, Google Chef Sean Andre. You'll see all the things that I've done, the experiences that I've had, and most of the stories that I've talked about today are online. Or you can call me directly. My number is on my Instagram page as well, or on my Facebook, 650-239-6764, or at eatingwithchefseanandre.com. It's a brand. It's every single where you can go, right?
Come on, Visa.
You might see me driving around town. My car doesn't say that. Oh, you want to know I shouldn't say this online, but I'll say it doesn't matter. You know my license plate on my car says?
What?
Yes.
Eating with Chef Sean Andre? But I mean, you can't fit all that on there.
No, it says pork fat.
Okay. You threw me for a loop with that one. I was like, maybe have an abbreviated version of it. Okay, so if we see a car that says pork fat, we know that's you.
Huh?
If we see a car that says pork fat, we know that's you.
You know that's me. Just hit the horn or throw me the deuces and it's all good. But, right, you can find me anywhere. Call me. Like I said, I do in-home cooking classes. We do intimate catering for 10 to 30 people. We are. Let me tell you what we are. I can tell you what we are not. We don't use foil pans. We don't do any of that. We're gonna bring porcelain plates like that, and we'll set it up. We set up the whole event from the beginning to end. And we take Cash App, PayPal, so on and so forth. We prefer PayPal because it's a little bit more. Yeah, I like PayPal better too. Yes. But we have it there. Don't get me wrong. For Cash App, that works too. It's all money, and all that's under the same brand. Eating with Chef Sean Andre. That's it.
Well, I appreciate this conversation. I've learned a lot, and you have made me feel like there's more work to do. You know what I'm saying? In a good way.
Yeah.
And it's more, I would say, advocacy for people of color that are influencers that maybe, like I said, don't get as much attention as they could or should. And then I just feel like it's just so many different directions that you are going that are all in a positive light. And I appreciate you for sharing time with us this evening. Tell your girlfriend we appreciate her for being in the background. And then we'll let you guys go ahead and cook dinner tonight. And then, guys, you can always join him on Facebook on Saturday. So what time on Saturday again?
Saturday, 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
What I want to say, though, is if you guys are, like I said, if you're interested in the cooking classes or anything, don't be afraid to call. My phone is always on. You can text me, so on and so forth. We're there for you. And we're available pretty much anywhere in the world. So
there you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your light and sharing yourself and your story with us this evening. We appreciate you. So everybody, if you're watching this on the replay, make sure that you share it. And once this goes up on my page, you'll be able to share it directly into your Insta stories. Just go to the actual video, press your little airplane that's in the bottom, and then you can share it into your Insta stories. Don't be scared if it takes a couple of seconds, because you got to realize this is over an hour, so it takes the time for it to get into the Insta stories, and that's one way that you can share this message. Feel free to comment, and feel free to tag anybody in this video that you think needs to hear this message, and watch it again if you feel like you just need a little bit of love, a little bit of life. And so we'll have it up as soon as we finish tonight. It takes a couple minutes, but it'll be right up on the page for you. And I did get your message, so the answer to your question from earlier was yes, Chef Sean Andre. But for everybody else, guess what? Thank you so much for showing up and showing out, and continue to give it to the people. Bye, guys.
Hey, thank you. Bye.